Welcome back to Cyber Sea of Galilee DSMME on this Friday, September 3rd. September 3rd for anybody named Gregory, or if you named your sons Gregory, or a husband is Gregory, or your name is Greg. I have a cousin Gregory. In any case, this is your feast day. And this is a feast of a very popular saint, actually, who lived really in the last part of the 6th century and on into the 7th a bit. But in any case, on September 3rd, we don't celebrate his death as we do most saints. Most saints, their feast day is actually the day that they die because we said that's the day we're born into heaven. Of course, purgatory could have also been in there too, but that's kind of the way the church usually does it. But with Gregory the Great, we celebrate the day he became Pope. And so this is very interesting. That's a kind of a different thing that happened with him. Now, who was he? He was the son of a Roman senator, and he became a prefect in Rome and at the age of 30, and he had many gifts in administrative skills. And so he actually ended up entering a monastery, and there he learned a lot more discipline, and he was a very brilliant man. So in one sense, he was a bit of a natural, I suppose, for the people back then to acclaim as Pope. So he became Pope, and then he became a saint, so Pope Saint Gregory, and he became such a great Pope. He's one of the few that has the title of Pope Saint Gregory the Great. Now, what all did he do? He actually took the calendar and he organized that. Remember, he has many administrative gifts. He organized the calendar. He also organized the liturgy, did a great deal. And again, where did that love of the liturgy come from? His monastic life. So in the monastic spirituality, which we as Dominican Sisters of Mary, Mother of the Eucharist, still live a monastic spirituality. And so it's a very set days and times for the liturgy. You're helping us live this with these Cyber Seas of Galilee because you join in and you find out what the Feast of the Saints are too, and you live it with us. And the Mass reflects this, and our Divine Office reflects this. Even our food reflects this, and whether we have, quote, recreation, meaning that we can talk all day long, or whether we have a silence day, all these things are reflected in the liturgy. So we live what we call the liturgical calendar, and in large measure, we can thank Pope St. Gregory the Great for putting that into that kind of order. Gregorian chant, which some of you all I'm sure love, others probably haven't heard, and some of you have heard, but the great Latin music of the ages, he took all that music and he organized it. So we had a great body of music, but it was disorganized. Well, as we all know, if you don't put order into chaos, you will lose things. So he wanted that combined, and so he set about working to combine that, and the Gregorian calendar is named after him. The Gregorian liturgy is named after him. Gregorian chant is named after him. So he's got his name marking a lot of things that he actually took that were there but could have been lost to you and me and the rest of history had he not put some order into it. So he lived approximately 20 years as Pope, and he did a great deal of work during that time. And he died, and he is called the Great because of this. He is actually the very first Pope who came from monasteries, because most of the time if you enter a monastery, you live and die there. But this particular Pope was brought out because he was so acclaimed for his many gifts. So on this feast day, let's pray for order in our lives. Whatever part of our lives, and we all have different parts, is disorganized. Perhaps it's our relationship with someone that we need to put order into. Perhaps it's the way that we come to a work ethic that maybe isn't as organized as it should be. Perhaps it's organizing families. Perhaps in our lives as teaching sisters, it's a particular class that burdens us a bit that we need to put more organization into, or it's a new subject that we're teaching that we need to organize so that we can fit the important material into the year, etc. We all have these areas where we need to organize a little bit more. St. Gregory the Great is not only just great, he's also a doctor of the church because he wrote so much. He really filled his life with the praise and the glory of God himself. So it's a very special feast day. So on this beautiful feast of St. Gregory the Great, which is a great name for those moms of you moms who are pregnant, or you dads can mention this to your wives also, that if it's a boy, what about Gregory? I think that's a great name. Anyway, signing off from Cyber Sea of Galilee on this beautiful feast day with Mary in the heart of her Son.